Okay, I missed a video for episode 4, so a little bit of combo thing. Joe Weller out, really big thing. Neef and Phantom, a little bit of romance going. Liv is a trooper for that, and so is Chloe actually. She's been growing on me. But the cliffhanger here, finale, Leah versus Castillo, rock, paper, scissors, see who's going to get eliminated. And in typical Sidemen fashion, as Toby says. I didn't mind Joe going out, to be honest with you. I really like Joe Weller. Been, a fan of his or known about him for a long time. But he didn't really quite fit the vibe in this. He was a little too serious sometimes. So...
in typical Sidemen fashion.
Yep. So they kept tying. It was pretty crazy, and then finally now, the very end, it comes to it. Leah's out, and Castillo stays Brev. Castillo Brev. I do feel a little bad for Leah, but at the same time, she was a bit of a stick in the mud, and was just kind of took it a little too seriously. However, if I was in there and I wanted to win, I can't say I wouldn't quite be the same. So everyone says goodbye. They have her leaving. I don't know what these paparazzi photos outside are for. Apparently she met up with her boyfriend. Anyway, this was also weird. Phantom gives her a rose, and Ginger's singing, which was actually pretty nice. So then Toby comes and surprises them at night with a new game challenge called Night Watch. Basically, they have to watch. It's kind of like Lost, where they have to input a code every 4 minutes, basically, between when the timer's between 10 and 0. And they basically have to do it in shifts throughout the night, and it tells them, who they have to switch for. It sounds pretty normal enough. And then there's this weird thing here where Phantom kind of says he has a girlfriend. Nife is sort of talking about them, and while they're talking about that, the clock's ticking down. But they finally managed to do it. It was a little bit stressful watching, but they don't mess it up. So then it's weird because it's like halfway through the next timer, they tell them to switch. So they get there with plenty of time. And then I guess then maybe have them do that a couple times before then they switch. So it's just constantly switching, running and getting people, and they kind of give them less and less time. Then they have this temptation room, and they have a masseuse in there that Chloe snuck into. And she actually did it fine the first time. She was able to time it right and come out and put the code in still. But then this second time, she goes back, and this is it. She's failed. So I don't really blame her. I would have tried to get a massage too. Then everyone's just kind of still up and spending. Phantom gets he gets the wetsuit, and it doesn't fit him, but he gets the flippers and starts flopping around, and Nife is not pleased. Liv and Specs. Trust Fund really loves drilling that in, which I don't blame him, because she acts like she came from nothing and built everything herself, and it doesn't seem like that's quite the case. Anyway, just more of this game, which I did actually like, because there seemed like there were some real stakes to it, I wish they would do a few more challenges in this, to be honest with you, because it is a lot of them just like, talking. This is a little bit of an interesting alliance forming here, and it'll be interesting to see how that works. And then Phantom's gonna run down. Nife just runs right by him. So here they're talking about setting them up, which the Sidemen, the producers, they already did already. And then it just kind of gets awkward. Phantom literally says I can't play this shit on YouTube. I think they're playing Pony, but Genuine. The dancing was just kind of awkward, so I just cut it out of it. This was hilarious. They took her like teddy bear and tied him up, and she had to run and grab him. And then he comes like strolling down, and he sees at the last minute there's only 2 seconds. So he fucked it. But the funniest part is him just chilling. So then it is Castillo and Specs, and their temptation room bit is just this button that's set up. Now, I gotta say, I probably would have pressed it, just because it seems so tempting.
I told you not to press it. Just lost the team 20 grand.
Specs. Okay, cool. Don't say very nice.
So they're just not telling him it. 20 grand. That sucks.
That's the joke, and that was cleared, not guilty. So, guilty, innocent until proven guilty. Thank you.
As Ginge starts his shift,
Ginge is great.
The rest of the house are heading to bed.
So now it's just like one guy having to stay up.
You absolute arsehole.
They set up a PlayStation for him. And this was pretty brilliant, I gotta say.
You have to be in the same room as the PlayStation. So I can play FIFA.
Tried to do it from that room, which would have been great, but then they said he couldn't do it. So this is where it gets interesting, because now everyone's asleep, and they have to switch shifts. Ginge, but I guess it was Ginge and Phantom. So he just runs to the bottom of the stairs, yells Phantom a bunch of times, and then runs down and then puts it. And then they do it again with Chloe, but she was actually sleeping, and it just doesn't work. Which is really funny, because she's just like, fuck.
Oh, Chattin, thank you. How much was it?
So the next morning, they get Ginger's darts for him, which is nice. Then it is lunchtime.
I'm not really hungry. We woke up late, not putting you on breakfast.
That's very true.
So they'll let him sleep in today.
Yes.
I would like to go. Bananas is 500.
Lunchtime.
I'm not eating.
You know, allow it, allow it, man.
What about that?
Just buying more stuff.
And a banana.
Can I confirm an order of cereal, please?
The Sidemen would like to set you a secret challenge.
So yeah, now Ginger has Angry Ginger has a challenge to get Marika to hit a 20, and he gets her to do it, which is pretty crazy.
Yes. You did get 20, well done.
And with that dart, Ginger's won 10k.
Yeah, 10k, which is I like those little, if they would do more of these little secret challenges too, just so they can win a little bit, because they have been spending so much. And then Ginge does this hilarious thing. he basically says that he pretends that he's been working with the Sidemen to get people to spend, and whoever spent the most is out. And when he says the total amount that he made up in his head, Castillo raises his hand, about to be like, yeah, it was me. And then he just reveals that he was joking, which is hilarious. He does kind of drag it out for a long time. That was kind of weird. More awkwardness here. Nife confronting Phantom about buying chocolate. It gets kind of just awkward. And then you can tell this is kind of done now. Phantom's like, this girl's not really that fun. She's has been a little uptight. And they're walking back. Castillo, he's just like, yeah.
I would like to confirm a Mr. Beast Festivals.
You what, Brev?
And this was a great one too, and actually it was really somehow even funnier on YouTube because they started bleeping all this stuff. But yeah, they charged them for swearing, and I'll just let this part play out because it's hilarious. But it really works out.
You're now on a swearing ban. So every time you swear or say the word fuck, shit,
JJ playing his best anime character here.
will be removed from the prize fund.
I really wonder how Nife is feeling throughout all this now, because it's just like more and more and more money going.
This challenge is a challenge that says, regardless of whatever you're doing, we're taking money off you. We're absolutely...
What the party?
Chloe's actually pretty funny. She's growing on me, I gotta say, in this environment.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, cheat
God, then you weirdo.
I mean, I'm trying to... Well, they tell them it's, what, 26 in the first hour?
On the swear jar challenge.
Which is 500...
You have sworn 26 times.
5, 10, 15 grand.
Roger's a
Is a curse word?
yes.
Is that me up here?
I don't know. It's good. What was that?
Oh, I didn't know. Go. 44.
44? Oh, so it's 200 flat. Wait a minute.
The swear jar challenge is now complete.
Like 4 for that.
So that's over.
I'm hoping that when the prize fund is revealed
Oh,
later.
Castillo is so funny. It's low, Brev. So now we have another interesting part. Ginge uses a prize token that he won. Orders McDonald's for the gang. Before that, though, before it gets there, Phantom has his temptation, Brev. And basically, it's PS5, playing GTA 5,
In front of you is the gaming setup.
and also eating some Dominican food, Brev.
Favorite game, GTA. To your right.
At first he resists temptation, then KSI gets on there, JJ gets on there, and he's like, Phantom, do it. Again, he gets weirdly sexual with it. Very, very JJ. Just weird.
GTA, bro. I'm sorry, bro. It's GTA, bro.
And with like 20 minutes left, he just jumps on. I can't say I blame him, but I would have done it right away. That's the thing. You got to decide right away, because either you get a full 20 minutes or you get your time cut off. So then McDonald's shows up, and he has convinced everyone that Phantom's convinced everyone that he did not eat the food, and that it was so hard, blah, 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 but he resisted. Now, for a big man, I kind of thought that he would avoid this common pitfall and continue eating some McDonald's, at least enough that they don't notice, but he doesn't, and they do notice. And I don't eat fries. They're like, well, you're going to eat something, right? He keeps saying that he ate this chicken from earlier. He has literally one nugget, and he's like taking his time. No one's ever eaten a nugget that slow. See, oh, they're already catching on, and immediately after, they're like, why wasn't he eating? Very interesting.
I think it's Dominican food. And that's exactly what it was.
Dominican. It's so how Jidge says it. Dominican. Definitely agree with Stephen Tries. That sounds like a Brexit way to say that pronunciation. So finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. Down, down, down goes the prize pot. The prize
It's going below.
Pool.
It's not possible.
This isn't right.
290.
It's right.
We've quite literally done fucking
290. Big man.
I want to know. So they don't know how much they got each time they lost the Night Watch challenge. That could have been anywhere from like 15 to 20K.
They've done I'm telling you, you both done your
Plus the swear jar, that's at least, probably 30K.
Here's one that would have come out yesterday.
Immediately they turn on each other. Spec starts blaming Ginge.
That was the truth.
No, real shit. No, no,
Get
real
out.
You didn't touch the Mackies. You didn't touch the Mackies.
I ate the ice cream, the whole shit.
See, they're calling him out now. You didn't touch the Mackies. What happened, huh?
I ate the whole ice cream. I ate the
You
chicken
said the
before.
only thing you're gonna crash on that is
Ginge is a detective. You don't want him on your case. He'll be a big pain.
calm down.
See, they're already arguing. And then it gets this weird thing, which is just super funny.
The vibrator.
We spoke about changing all of our family's lives.
Specs is going off on this thing, and it kind of turns into this weird argument because he sort of brings up Castillo, and then Castillo suddenly says,
And I've just curved it right back, bro. Which caused calamity, bro.
he says that he pretends that they both took 50K from the button, basically, with that button that they pressed that they weren't supposed to, and that they weren't going to say anything to anybody.
Stars here. And the sound of the stars.
So that gets a little awkward and confusing, apparently even more so for the cast. But anyway, then Josh and Vic show up, break it up, and they basically initiate a challenge or a vote. Castillo gets all the votes, almost all except for obviously himself. He votes with Nife.
For who you would like to see leave.
I vote Josh.
Big man team.
So fast forwarding here, yeah, you just see blah, 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 everyone, Castillo. Which I think was the right call. He is just kind of getting a bit negative and just felt like it was time to go. But then they decide not to, which I don't really like because they're not really good at pulling it off as if that's what they meant to do. It's very clear that they're manipulating it, which for the most part I think they've been making good decisions as far as like changing the rules or changing the game, but for this one I don't think so. And then they just do this. I feel like they could have done this earlier and it would have been more impactful, like if they would have done it the last time. But like this, it's somehow I have this edited in twice there. I'm very curious. Okay, and this part's great.
But you know why, right?
Do you know why?
Undisputed, bro.
But you know why, right?
I don't care why.
But you know why?
I don't care.
No why.
I don't care why.
Phantom is just such a great.
No why.
That's such a great line, dude. Do you know why though?
Keep that there, bruv. Screenshot that, bruv. Screenshot that, bruv.
On inside.
It's not really like a screenshot.
Anything? You
So
still.
then
You little baby, bruv.
Who are you talking to?
You, I'm talking to you.
this is the moment we've all been waiting for since the previews have come out. The big fight, I guess, is going to be in the next episode, finally. And we're more than halfway through. I mean, it is now Friday. So, this was Thursday, the episode. We're almost there at the end. I can't wait. Gonna